tools in hand. Balsa wood, we make a stand. Carving dreams from days gone by. Stunt hanger planes that touch the sky. Control lines tight, the engine hums. Crafting art where passion drums. Stunt hanger, flying high. Old world craft beneath the sky. Balsa wings we build with care. Stunt hanger, join us there.
Well, welcome back from this morning. I didn't figure today was going to be a disaster, but as like in every day of my life, it is. It was a disaster. I left here figuring, well, I'll go to the hobby shop and buy some glue and some plywood. So I get to the hobby shop and I buy the plywood, which, I mean, is not really bad, but it ain't really good. It was $10 for the light ply, and so it was $20 for the plywood, 10 and 10. So after that, I decided, well, I'm done. Well, shit, I forgot I didn't have any Z-epoxy, and I didn't have any regular epoxy. So I went back and I got the Z-epoxy and the regular epoxy. And this stuff here was ridiculously expensive. This was $22 for 15-minute epoxy. And this was $25 for Z-epoxy. All right, great, no problem. So we've spent $50, $70 on plywood and glue. So I said, well, let's stop at Harbor Freight and I'll get me my, because I had a coupon, I'll get my free Warrior heat gun. So, okay, great. I get in there and I said, oh shit, I don't have any razor blades. So my free Warrior heat gun cost me $8 because I had to get some razor blades. So I said, all right, we made out today with a $78 hit. Okay, no big deal. So we drive to the store, and while I'm waiting in the parking lot, I'm listening to the radio, and I said, let's not waste any gas. Let's shut it off. Shut it off and save gasoline. Well, I shut it off and went to restart it. Dead as a doornail. So I called AAA. They came out and they checked the battery. Bad battery. Man, bad battery. How much is a battery? $240, $239 and change. So my trip to the Harbor Freight to get my free heat gun cost me $300. Shit, you can't go outside. I should have just stayed inside, and you can keep the heat gun. I'm going to start doing that. If it's free, you can't afford it. So I got a new battery, and I got the stuff to build this profile now. So unbelievable. Free heat gun, $300. But let's see how the fuselage turned out. Should be dry enough to take it out of the weights. Hey, hello. Perfect. God, finally, something worked out. Perfect. Let's make up some doublers, I guess. Let's cut this out. We'll make the doublers. Perfect. Finally, something worked for me. Tell you, the kid that came out to put the battery in, nice kid. Kids don't know anything about tools. I said, I watched him, through the underneath the hood. Said maybe I better go help him. I said, look, you need a 13 or a half inch for that bolt and a 5/16 for the other bolt. He was fiddle farting around. Shit, we'd still be in the parking lot if I didn't tell him what bolts to use or what tools to use. Okay, well, I like that. That worked good, and it's stiff. That was worth it. So, would I do that again? Yes. I don't think I'm going to run it through the planer. I think I'm just going to sand it. I don't want to take any material off of it. Yeah, it turned out nice. I'm happy about that. So would I do this again? Yes. Well worth it. Absolutely. I need to see how much weight it added, but I don't foresee very much for the amount of stiffness you're going to get out of it. Now, most guys are not going to build a profile like this. This is a big, big profile. You know, something like a twister or something like that doesn't need, this is a built up, it's basically a built up airplane. Let me see if I can get this stuff right. Farting around with this. Maybe it's not quite drying up the sand. Z-Fox is not quite dry. It's sticking in a couple of spots, and that's why it's loading the paper up. But it's dry enough to get out of the weight. I'm happy with that. And boy, is it stiff. Okay, let's make some doublers. I'm not going to go out to the garage to run that chop saw, but I am going to walk over there off camera for a minute and chop these mounts off on the bandsaw. So give me a second. Only take a second. Get to it. Yeah, I can't get to that, so I need to do what here? I think we're going to run a nose ring on this. I need to move this off here. Get all these damn paint guns. I'll be able to start my own Harbor Freight store here in a minute. Shit. All them paint guns everywhere. Okay. Now we can make some doublers. I hope this inspired you guys to build your own profile. I mean, not very hard. You know, a lot of people are intimidated by, oh, I built a fuselage. Well, I will guarantee you this profile here, it would have been easier to build a built-up fuselage. So let's go over how many components it is. It's 3 layers back here. It's a 3/32 or 3/16 on one side, 3/16 on the other, laminated on an 1/8 inch piece of wood. The top turtleneck is 1/2 inch. The nose block is 1/2 inch. This motor mount is not the normal motor mount. It's just right out of a built-up fuselage. So it's 3/8 by 1/2 with a channel cut in it, cross grain quarter inch going that way, then 1/8 inch sandwich on the top. Now I did leave that 64th plywood on this side, but it's not a big deal. Might have a little issue with it bonding the doubler, but I think I'll sand it some. And then the bottom piece, I mean, it's a lot of parts for a profile. Then of course the inlay of the 1/8 inch back here and the carbon. And yes, I would do that again. That was a good idea. One of my better ones. Kind of like the hinges. Get a weight on this and see where we're at. As long as we're under 7 ounces, I'm going to be right there with a PA airplane. 55. It's a creeping up, though. I can tell you that. Five and 3/4 ounces. So we'll add the doublers to it, and the boy, this thing here got wonky. I'm gonna have to sand that, right? Didn't do a very good job of cutting that. Okay, what are we gonna do for a pen or pencil or whatever? Oh, there's the pen. see, we want to do more of an angle. Where's my ruler? Oh, it's kind of a cranky looking wing cut out. So we're going to have to, what happened there? We're going to have to glue some 1/2-inch wood together in order to get a cheek cowl for it. And I do want an inboard or an outboard cheek cowl slight, you know. Ah. Yeah, I'm basically happy with this. This turned out way better than I thought it would. Let's clean these lines up too while we're at it. Yeah. Clean them up. You guys got any questions, or you just come to visit or hang out, or what? Looking better. See, we gotta do what here? We gotta have a round sanding bar. No, my round bar ain't there. Okay. I can't believe how good that worked. For not even a quarter ounce. Putting those stiffeners in with not even a quarter ounce worth. That was a good investment. Let's see if the wing fits. If we're gonna have a problem right there and right there. Needs to be a 1/16 of an inch bigger all the way around. Actually, an 1/8 of an inch bigger. 1/16 total. Hmm. So it's right there. Yep, right there. Right there. Still gonna have to be bigger. That's ever so close. Oh, and the lines are right on the money. So it needs some more right here. See how nice that fits? The line is right there with my thrust line. So I need to sand a little more there and a little more there. Let's see what that says. Watching some of my older building tips to have come along. You have come a long ways. Really. I've been doing everything like this for years. Okay. Let's get doubler cut, and then we'll lay out another one and cut two of them, get them glued together. So by tonight we can mount an engine and a tank. Now I have to think how I want to mount the tank right now, because I have to sink two dowels in this so that I can run my tank height adjuster. Because I do not like rubber banded tanks and such. I don't want to sand that until I get the stubber. I'm a little concerned with this 64th ply, how the stubber's going to sit on there. I guess I could sand that off. I could sand her off. So we'll see how it fits. All right. Normally I would take this out to the table saw and just run this through, but I'm live streaming, so I'm gonna cut it on my bandsaw. Give me a second. Okay, I just kind of batched it out. I didn't cut it out the way it's supposed to be cut out. I'll do that on the jigsaw. Wow. Shit. Okay. Watch me battle this jigsaw. I hate jigsaws. one thing I found easier than trying to jigsaw these lines is to sand them. So give me a second. I'm over on a disc sander and we'll batch that out. I'll be back in a second. Of course, you can hear me, but. Let me sand this notch in here too. I like sanding way better than I like cutting because it really gets a nice line when you sand. Of course, you need to sand that after it's glued on. Man, I did the same thing I did with the wing. Cut on the fuse. Leave it big, sand it to shape. Yeah, it should be all right. Then once it's glued on, I'll take the Dremel tool and sand all this together. So what I'm going to do about a tank mount. I guess the first thing to do is to look at it. I think the last one I did wrong. Where's the beef? Yeah. Okay, this tank needs to be able to move up and down. So that's about where it should be. So it would go from there. Okay. We put it right there in the center. Now, wait a minute. I don't want to do that. I want to put it on the edge here so I can get a full range. Yeah, I almost made the same mistake again. Okay, that's way more than it's going to be, and that's way more than it's going to be. So if I put the screw right in the center, I don't leave much room for the slider. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this again. I put it there and there. Let's see, we need to draw it out maybe. I already got fuel on it. Hadn't even flown and it's got fuel on it. If I put the screws, let's see. Everything goes off the datum line, so let's do that. Let's get the datum line on there. Okay, so that's the datum line. And we got, that's way up there. We put a screw right here, the slider. That would leave me, well, it's going to be rubbing right on the leading edge because of this tank so long. Let's see where the engine fits. What the heck's going on? Why is there fuel coming out of this? Unless I broke it. I think I did. I think I broke that one. Oh well, time to make another one. This one here is a little longer. I must have set something on it. Have to pressure it up and see where it's leaking. I might have another one in that box. Let me look here. Another sixer. I got an 8. I got an 8. I need to send this package off. To get some money. I got an 8, so I need 2 more 6s. Okay, so that's there. It should be all right. Yep, should be okay. So we can put the holes. Put the hole right. We need to give as much room as we can. So no longer than that. Put the hole right there. And then the hole will have to go right there, right on the edge. Yeah, we got it actually needed to be a 10 1/4 inch nose, but that's too long. I could do that. So I need to know where these dowels go. That'll work, but boy, it's close. So it gets a dowel right there and right there, so that a 440 screw can run through to the other side for a blind nut, so that I can make a saddle for this tank, so that when you unscrew it, you can adjust this up and down. I'm also going to have to build a tank that has the outlet, the pickup coming out the side, or yeah, I'll just make it coming out the side. I have a tank laid up somewhere around here already that's ready to be plumbed. We'll just plumb it that way. That way I don't have to worry about hitting the back of the head with the fuel line. We'll move back an inch and plumb it there. So a lot of shit to think about, really. Because I want it to be I don't want it just to be a ringmaster. Or the airplane that I crashed in Huntersville would have been a super killer profile airplane. And it kind of soured me on profiles because of me leaving the ball link loose on the elevator. It just went, I kept giving it up and it just kept going down and down and down and down. I had it all the way to the stop. Smash! Killed the engine. I don't want to lose another engine over a profile. My mistake, my fault. Well, I think we're gonna call it a day, and I'll be back on 7 o'clock. Look for the invite to the hangout on At the Bench. I think I'm going to leave the link with no passcode, and you'll have to message me for the passcode or whatever. This problem that we got is I just don't know. I just don't know how to handle it. I reported him to Zoom and I reported him to YouTube, but they don't seem to want to do anything about it. So there's not much I can do other than that. Because who knows? He's probably not even in the country. Who knows? I know if I could catch him, I'd wring his neck. Dumbass. All righty. Let's see what we got in for time. We got 1 hour in. Please like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you at 7 o'clock tonight. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.